Gianni Infantino feels gay and like a migrant worker as he recalls being bullied for red hair and freckles. Probably not a brilliant idea to admit you feel gay as a resident of Qatar, when your last name fits your behavior. Mind-blowing that they replaced Sepp Blatter with this guy. I can't tell which one is worse. Completely out of touch. Of course I am not Qatari, I am not an Arab, I am not African, I am not gay, I am not disabled. But I feel like it, because I know what it means to be discriminated, to be bullied, as a foreigner in a foreign country. As a child I was bullied because I had red hair and freckles, plus I was Italian, so imagine. Fucking hell, this guy has to have the biggest victim complex I've ever seen. This guy got 6,500 people killed and just threw himself a pity party. Edit. Clown. Dumping on Europe. He sure likes European money, Swiss banks and personal freedoms guaranteed only under democratic regimes. I don't think being bullied is an excuse to take bribes from slavers. Hey guys, it's okay, I corruptly swung the World Cup to an evil regime that uses slave labor to the point 6,500 people died from my actions, but I was bullied for having red hair, so we're good here, right? Okay, let's have him walk in the shoes of a gay migrant worker for a few weeks and see if it's really the same exact thing. Somehow this did not birth an instinct to protect the weak and bullied though. I got red hair and freckles and was bullied for it, and I will even go so far as to say that we are often not even considered to be discriminated against, even though we totally are. However, I would never be as so bold to claim it's near anything like being gay, or even migrant workers. On the hierarchy of social injustices, we are somewhere between dropping a brand new ice cream cone, and finding a winning lottery ticket a week after it expires. This guy's speech was mad. Way to double down on it all. Wouldn't expect anything less of FIFA. I have red hair and freckles. I was bullied as a kiddo. The suspected gay kids had the absolute shit kicked out of them. We were not the same. I only wish I had been more aware of that and stood up for them. Ah, the Chewbacca defense. I wonder how he would feel if being born a red-headed freckled child was punishable by death in Qatar. I wonder if he would have agreed to this travesty. With the amount of gold cock he is sucking for this World Cup, he better be feeling gay. Say you've taken massive bribes without saying you've taken massive bribes. Infantile. I have red hair and I'm also trans. The shit I got for the former does not remotely compare to the latter. What the actual fuck am I reading? Isn't being gay literally against the law in Qatar? Maybe he should show us all his integrity by getting incarcerated and beaten to death by Qatari prison guards for the authentic experience? I felt worthless, I felt ugly, I felt gay ginger dude. The deflection and whataboutism on display in this premeditated speech, in order to support an authoritarian, cruel regime, has to be a moment where FIFA has crossed the Rubicon. They aren't just greedy. They're soulless, cynical and bad actors. They support evil, they are evil. They need replaced. Well, imagine the amount of journalists and fans that will more than likely face harassment from the organizers. There are already many horror stories when people went there for the Club World Cup. Imagine now that thousands more will arrive. This doesn't change that Qatar is still a shithole though. No idea who this guy is, but those don't look like the eyebrows of someone with red hair to me. As a child I was bullied because I had red hair and freckles, plus I was Italian, so imagine. I'm sorry, what? MF, you were born in the 1970s in Switzerland, not 1910s US. What did they do to you? Do the funny hand gestures. How psychotic do you have to be to use that as an excuse to treat people like bugs? I was sure I misunderstood this. No, he's really saying that being bullied for having red hair in school is the same as being gay or a migrant worker. And that being gay or a migrant worker is the same as being Qatari. Since everyone is being so mean to them right now. Because all the mean things are the same. Like, what? He's a twat. A corrupt twat. This broke guy certainly wishes he feels like a Qatari. That's probably why he's defending them. I think this is the dude's long way of coming out. Like a virgin. Bribed for the very first time. Feeling gay? Guy should be in prison for that. In Qatar, of course. This shit show is gonna entertain us for a month. Luckily Elon did his thing in less than a trust, so we can now enjoy the FIFA World Cup debacle unfold. This fucking gay guy. He is a total piece of shit. His arrogance is unbelievable. What a fool. Childish turd. As a redhead, I agree. Ever since that stepchild phrase became popular, we've been getting it worse than the slaves. Ginger lives matter. I mean, the guy's name is Infantino. He's got to have a bunch of hang-ups about being less than dominant stemming from his childhood. I think the most not the onion part of this story is a man named Infantino acting like an entitled baby on the world stage. Sometimes life is directly on the nose. He should request the migrant worker experience package from his financiers, I mean the human rights violators, I mean the terrorism sponsors, I mean the totally friendly and not the worst example of humanity. You know what, fuck him, all of him. As a red hair and freckles guy who other kids did try to bully, fuck this guy. As an aside to anyone struggling with bullying, I fought back by owning the red hair and freckles and denying the bullies the reaction they wanted. When a kid calls you a fire crotch for the first time and your response is yep, what about it? You can see that little shit deflate like a leaky balloon. What do you expect from FIFA? He's bound to come out swinging wildly to make him the joke rather than address the bribery, worker deaths, corruption, LGBT stuff. He's hardly going to apologize and admit he's the corrupt head of a corrupt organization. Waiting any moment for the police to gangbang him in a hotel. I hope he forgets all his passwords and that he will be late to all of his meetings. It's hypocritical for Europeans to comment on Qatar's treatment of migrants when I know what they feel like because I was a ginger kid, man face palming. He feels gay but firmly defending Qatar, yeah right. People pretend anti-Irish racism wasn't real, just due to ignorance and political convenience. It's incredibly hypocritical. Fousey Tube, is that you? I wonder how he treats gays and migrant workers. I'm guessing not well. This guy sounds like a shitheel. Easy to love migration workers when you're rich enough that you never have to deal with the ugly sides of it. What hair? Fuck Qatar, or however you spell that piece of shit country. It pot illegal in Qatar because he was definitely on something. The term red-headed stepchild used to be a thing. Read in a newspaper that journalists had a collective WTF is going on moment there, and that it was one of the most absurd press conferences they had ever witnessed. His last name describes him well. This really needs to go viral, eh? Like really drive home the point how this is earth-shatteringly out of touch. When dudes say shit like this, it makes me realize that they're only saying how dare you treat me like I treat everybody else, I'm special. Trying to shame back rather than promising to do better in the future. He's a coward. I wonder how much bribe he receives to say this kind of rubbish. Promises are broken and the spineless posse accepts this. Finally, a ginger insult I haven't heard. I truly thought that by this point in my life I had been subjected to every one that existed. Here's to learning new things. Christ, just another notch in CEO's elites were bullied kids that cannot let go of the past axiom. I wonder if he'll be gang raped by Qatari police now. No. No, he will not be. What red hair? He was bald since conception. Probably a valid reason for sick leave at FIFA? Yeah? How many times did people genuinely wish death upon you for having red hair? The people that say this type of shit are so stupid. Who is Giant Infant? This asshole probably thinks that since he's bald now that is the same thing as being black too. Giant Infant needs to be fired. Gianni, do you feel like a fuckwad? Because you're a fuckwad. Imagine saying that while bald. What a creep, this guy is just as bad as Blatter, if not worse. He's ready to be elected for another 4 years without opposition. Tells you exactly how corrupt this whole organization is. Shit, I thought Sepp Blatter was bad. I have a new person on my top 5 most hated people list. Try growing up seeing your peer beaten to death and tied to a fence and left to die for having red hair and freckles. That's Wyoming style feeling gay, guy just a little bitch. When did that guy have red hair and freckles? Seriously. Yes, we all know how in some countries having red hair and freckles is punishable by death, like gay people. Or having red hair and freckles makes you incapable of applying for some jobs like disabled people. Or how redheads are made to work without pay like migrant workers. Does he feel corrupt, evil and disgusting too? Well, he's got nae hair to worry about now. This is Trump-level stupid. Lol WTF, sissy. Lol, is his last name Little Baby in Italian? What a poor soul. I couldn't ever imagine the amount of shit he got from Sniffles' red hair and freckles, crying face. Well, he's an idiot. He's very ignorant, if he thinks Europe needs to apologize for the last 3,000 years. Europe has been attacked as least as much as it has attacked others. Anyone participating in this charade is complicit. From the brand's advertising, to the companies supplying toilet paper to the athletes and billionaire owners themselves. These are all deliberate choices being made, nobody is just along for the ride here.